Hey guys, wasn't sure if we'd get there today. Oh, I can certainly hear me today. I just dashed up here. Been trying to get here before it gets too late in the day. And of course, my husband's not here, so pardon me. I'm going to play with this a little bit. You have joined the awesome Wicked Lady Hippie, and we're at my bar. If you can't tell by all the ringlings this thing has given me. I think I'll pull these down and see if we can't get out of the can there. There we go. It's a little bit better. Ain't perfect, but we'll work it a little. Hi again. You all can see me. Those of you who know me, do stop. Hit like, do something. They like that shit. I'm not going to make any money up here. I didn't get up here to make money. I got up here for the hippies tonight, man. I think this was, it's the best thing since I found air conditioning, for God's sake. And forgive me, at my appearance, try not to put behind me my bars at my house. If anybody has seen me, like I said, this is my second channel, so I'm having some trouble pulling everybody over. And I opened the second channel because I had a massive injury for a year that just took me literally off my feet for a year. So I've only been back about maybe 6 months, about half a year, and I had to open the second channel to get through to everybody. My first one just kept giving me fits, and I've worked in IT. I've been at these things since they were typewriters. No, I mean manual typewriters, not electric, with nothing on the keys. You just had to know where your fingers went. That was fun. Carbon paper was the greatest thing when I was out there. I do get up here, and I've got live chat on, these comments. If you want to subscribe, it's free, as everybody says. Go ahead. I'm an Army veteran, published author, retired, as you can tell, because apparently once you retire, there's more to freaking do, man. I turn around and go, what do you mean it's Sunday? I thought it was Friday evening, and my husband's going, no, it's Sunday. Where's the phone? It's got a calendar. We are old, so we run into those. So we're here at the bar. My husband gets me these little whiskey fireballs because I just love these little airplane bottles. I collected them from all over the world, especially when I was in the military. So I get those. I used to put it in, I like my whiskey on ice. And I started, when I first came up on the bar, I started doing it in a shot glass, because we also collect shot glasses everywhere we've ever been. Germany, it doesn't matter. I got a shot glass for them. And which came in handy when we got the big bar, which we thought was a little bar, which is another story I read a book. And my glasses, I see, are showing the lieutenant. We bought a new lamp for the bar area. It's like the Tiffany's look glass, like Victorian era, the patch glass, like stained glass. That's the words I'm looking for. This is a bar. It's an active bar. We have liquor everywhere. So again, I have my whiskey, and I decided, since everybody thought I was drinking too much because the ice would melt, and I'd pour in a little bit more, and then I'd hit that poor little shot glass like that. They're like, she's not drinking that bottle. And I am. So I just decided I would just mix it with a little OJ, maybe a little OJ and champagne for a change through it. I'm yet. So cheers. Oh. I needed that. I live in Augusta, Georgia. Like I had to have that part. I'm hoping I'm not so short up here. I can't never tell. So I'm probably making people dizzy. And I'm standing in my chair. I have a floor length on, and it's like sheer on the outside. It's one of those that moves with you. It's lovely. It's all lovely, but as cheap as it could be. I mean, I paid for the fabric, I think. So my husband kills me. And he says, all the time, somebody's over here, and they go, we've never seen your wife in the exact same outfit ever. How does she do that? And he's had women ask him the same thing. And he says, she can't get any of the closets. So if she can't find something in one closet, she'll go look at another closet. By the time she hits the third closet, she decides to go back to the first one and start over. And things match. My granddaughter, 13 going to 14, said I was always very welcome. I was like, wow, did you really have to pull that out? And just look around. And there's times just, whether they're your grandchildren or, I'm used to my nails being on, I had to take them off. I had sewing to do and all of this stuff. I'm trying to sew 2 ball gowns. I've been trying to do this for like 2 months. And my husband has a boat, so he likes to go fishing, and I like to get rid of him. And so he goes fishing occasionally. And when it was still very cold here, it wasn't like below zero, but it was close. We had them cold spells. And there was a kitten, 2 kittens inside that looked like they were newborn. We tried to just leave them there praying that the mother would come move those 2. They didn't, and the temperature was dark, the temperature was falling, it was raining. So he went back out to check, and he just picked them up, brought them in. He's like, they're not coming to get him. Go get some milk. And he ran to Kroger to get the kitten milk, and we lost little Angel. She just didn't thrive. I was trying to feed her, and then I realized she had died, and I went to try to feed her. It breaks my heart not to be able to save them. And they call me the cat lady around here because we live in a cul-de-sac. Before Hurricane Helene spit, 400 tornadoes hitting us, we had a forest on the side and a forest behind us. So we didn't clear the other 3 acres of our land. We wanted it that way, 3rd private. And it just happened after we had started happening before that. People just would throw the animals out, and we have to go. We actually go out in the early morning, or I do, and my husband looks in the evening to make sure nobody's throwing any animals out in a plastic bag or whatever. It's horrific, and I thought I could work with the animal department here, and unfortunately, I won't say what county and stuff I'm in, but they're a kill shelter. And if the female is pregnant and you bring it in, it's automatic, instant. And I'm like, I can't do this. And my husband's like, I can't either. What are we going to do? And that was just the first one. And this was the last one. But we had found the mother was sick, and she had 4 black kittens, and she was black. They were all identical. We had the worst time with those 4 or 5, and we lost 2 of them. And not fast, but we've lost them. And so any time you have them, it kills you. But I'm just grateful that my husband is a great guy, and we spend several $100s a month because, especially on the ones like this one, had to be bottle fed. And you don't have the heart at 6 weeks to throw it outside. It's either extremely hot or extremely cold for a poor kitten. And we know they have siblings out there, but they didn't help her for 2 days. And we couldn't wait any longer. She would have died. And Angel, I guess I have waited too long. And I tried everything. So they were found there. So I get all this to deal with while doing what is supposed to be a regular day because you're retired, which for me means feeding all of the cats. And of course, that's outside and inside because we now have several cats. Like I said, it's hard to feed them, bring them out, and then what are you going to do unless you've already found them a forever home while they're 6, 8 weeks old. And once they're grown, it's terrible for them. They really do grieve. So, and we've seen that. We have one that was returned because we had run to the vet. They almost had passed away dead, and it just didn't thrive. And that's what I say. I don't, the vet might say something different, but I've had so many now for about 6 years. But then they took all our trees and stuff out. So the poor ones that were outside, the neighbors didn't like. There was too many of them. They weren't feeding them. They weren't doing anything to help them. They weren't even putting out a bowl of water, for heaven's sakes. When it's 105 degrees, animals need water. Even the birds. My birds get out in the water. So I had to go to court and do all kinds of stuff. They fight the shit out of me. And at that time, I had fed 2 cats. And now, oh my God. So I put a trespassing ad, had no trespassing signs and all that up. So I have to deal with this on a daily basis. And then there's things like now a friend of my husband's asked him to go to Columbia, South Carolina with him. Now, Columbia is not that close to us. So it's like a couple-hour drive up, a couple-hour drive back. My husband makes it sound like I'll be back in 5 minutes. I don't care. He could be going to the moon, and that man would say, I'll be back in 15 minutes. It's a Southern thing. Yes, I married a Southerner, and you can tell, not Southern. He was the Native American chief for the Creek tribe, and the annex of it that was where they lived. And I need to write that book. He's actually was my my brother-in-law. When the real family found me, I was 30, and they saw the Parade magazine, which had featured us in the front, myself, my sister, the family, the name, said where it was. So the half brother is helping his mother, and his wife finds this article, and this is where the two girls are. They've been looking for 30 years. And she goes in, she makes a phone call, and she gets my brother. Now, my parents had retired, but the house had gone to my brother, and I was in Texas, and my sister was in downtown Chicago. She lived downtown, and she's screaming, "We got to go! We got to go!" I'm like, I run a hotel at that point, because they actually paid me enough. I didn't have to do the second job. That's okay. There was like 5 jobs I was doing anyway, and I'm like, I can't just up and leave. This is a restaurant. It's a bar. It's a hotel. Swimming pools, things like this got to get done. Do they want a towel? You have no towels out of 1,000 whatever towels you need. It was not a small one, and we were at that time doing things like putting up a new water park and stuff right across from us. It was an amazing time to be there. Got a lot of free tickets, and Schlitterbahn is the best. I still say that. We always went to the Schlitterbahn in New Braunfels, Texas. That's fun. So I finally married him, but yeah, maybe I should write that book. Although I do say, all right, I was raised in a Catholic school, and the parents were also pretty much Catholic, and so I technically, I had my son blessed by the Pope, meaning people that knew the Pope, and you pay a lot of money. It's just the way it works. So I kind of identified as Catholic and things like that. And so I had a problem because the other half brother was a Jehovah's Witness minister. The other one had gone and fought in Vietnam. They were 13 and 15 years older than me, and I was over 30. And I'm used to moving around a lot, and I worked on base and all that. And I was under temporary orders for the base for another job I was going to go to while running this hotel. I wasn't going to give up my hotel. I was manager there. And not general manager, not the big guy. I was the guy that took the money. Let's see, here you go. Good luck. I was sitting at the bar when I got off work. I used to bring my bathing suit in the summer. I love that fucking joke. So, let's see. What else? I could talk to everybody and tell you why I don't do this the way others do, or maybe that's why I don't have any followers. Cheers. For me, it's the hippies, and we used to sit around and talk about what we do about this and what we do about that. We didn't do it. We couldn't do it. We were too busy keeping the man out of our wallets, and that didn't work either. So here you are, you're retired. You're doing a lot more than you did before you retired because they told you how much of your retirement you could have inside and when you could have it. And, there's a limit. Like, okay. And I'm all, okay, I can use Medicaid, Medicare now, I've paid all of my life. And my husband goes, no, you got to call one of the insurance companies and they, I said, excuse me? I hate insurance companies. And he said, yeah, they run the Medicaid and Medicare through the insurance company. He said, send us a quote. So he had an email quote. And this was $149 a month. I'm like, are you stupid? What the hell is Medicaid and Medicare paying for it? They're having us go through another insurance company where we have to pay $150 a month again. So we're still paying a couple of grand a year, and we might not even use it to get a Band-Aid that year. I'm like, what the hell? So no, I wouldn't do it. And so I stayed with the VA. I've always, since I enlisted at 17 and actually left before I was 18, parents signed. So that's why we were the first company of women that was not in the WAC Corps. When we left, we were going to the WACs. When we landed, we were regular Army with airborne drill sergeants from Vietnam. They had fun. Wanted to know if any of us wanted to quit. Wouldn't it be a problem? Like, fuck you. Bring it. We were all young. And, I had fenced and swam, and I was an acrobat, I was a runner, I was, all this stuff. Oh, I can handle this. My fucking eyelashes hurt for 3 months. It's like, you can't actually lean against a tree while you're cradling your weapon and fall down to sleep. I mean, out on your feet. Don't sit down. You ain't getting up for a minute or two. Love this. Don't miss it. It turned out that this is the longest place I've ever stayed here in Augusta, Georgia. My son is an exit away. My grandson is an exit away. My grandson is also an Army veteran. It's kind of tells on me. Yes, I was the waitress at the Last Supper. I told the boy that. Well, he fell down. I'm going to keep that one because that's a winner. I love it when people laugh. And they get me because I see them a lot. And I'll pick up these little scars at the Walmart. And they'll be going, how you been doing? You look always, you never wear the same thing, how you do it. Me and the women talk. And then the guys start talking to me because they watch the show. And they want to come for a drink, but they're always at work. And I said, I can't take. Bring me a little flask. I got 4. I'll loan you one. You can call me or something. Use your phone. Well, most people don't. It seems that they don't want to get up on camera. And they keep asking me, well, how do you do that? And I'm like, well, I've always been a talker, and I don't like folk up in my way. I'm one of those, do or get the hell out of my way. And apparently, even at this age, none of them have got the fact that they are not doing it, and they need to get the hell out of my way. It's a good thing I never got to repress them or nothing. We wouldn't be having none of these problems if the woman was running up. Well, Hillary is the exception. Oh, yes, and the goofy girl. Well, I haven't seen it. They give women a bad name. I can't get this spit out fast enough. Between them and The View, women feel like we're just fucked. I mean, it's like I'll borrow from Cat Williams. It's fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. And then I go and I see a female fighter pilot and take that baby and set it parallel, which is horizontal, and bring it down in the carrier parallel that. There's some shit now, and there wasn't no women except for the waves, the WAFs, the WACs. None of us were trained with men. We were the support group, the nurses and the typists. And I did both because I really wanted to do it. This was Vietnam era, and my husband's Vietnam as well. And so I've always been through the VA and stuff like that. But I get a kick out of people. I do. This seems to be to me, is this the best thing, like I said, besides air conditioning? Heat's okay, but you can burn wood. I have a fireplace. But when you got no power and that air conditioner goes off, holy shit, I'm in my car. With my husband going, it's $4.50 a gallon, get out of it. Well, I'm serious, but I had one of those weeks, my AC, it just went. It had been working fine. All of a sudden, it says it's hot. And I know it's hot if it's over 73 degrees because I start getting really perspiry or what have you. I just know. And I said, okay. So I went over and looked and it was 76. And I was like, it's not working because I keep it set at 72, and which really kills us on a light bill, but I keep it at 72. And my husband's like, it's fine. I can hear it running. I said, you hear the fan running. I know more about this shit than he does. And this man fixed a car with like a string and a bolt. If he'll fix a big rig. He was a rig driver, a semi-driver for, he could retire. I think he did actually. He's an ace mechanic and he was a driver instructor as well the last decade of his career. And he, like me, he was always gone. Now, he didn't go overseas or anything, and I did. And oh my God. And when I think about it, we didn't have McDonald's at the corner. You went to the little tavern, that was about the only thing you could get to, even if you had a car, unless you wanted to go in like to Munich or wherever. I was in Karlsruhe. And you could go further in to go to town, or you had the little, tavern, and you went in there, you got dinner and a couple of drinks, you walked back. I got used to that shit. I did it in Texas. He said, you don't drive? I was like, oh, fuck no. I'll pay $350 a year. Are you kidding me? You pay that just to go through the second life. I was like, I'm not paying that shit. They've got mass transit. They've got taxis. I'm good. I said, okay, this is cute. And I came back from Europe and I came back to the States and I was like, you guys need to get a grip. You're going to get hit by terrorists. When I first landed in Germany, I came in at Heidelberg Airport, and I was very pregnant. And my son was born in Heidelberg, Germany. And so I step out, and come off the little thing, and there's a moving sidewalk. And I was like, oh, this is neat. This is like Disneyland. I'm still 17. It's the 70s, guys. Now, I'm a fucking hippie. Get over it. Jump in. Have fun. Let's talk about shit. I don't care. I don't care what it is, when it happened. Let's do it. Yeah. But they had the automatic sidewalk, and there were men with, I can't remember what they were holding now. Y'all would say a long gun today. Might have been an AK-47. But it's been a long time. And I stayed drunk a lot in Europe. I used to go to the Louvre and run. Because I got there like 6 or 8 times and I ran the whole time. Did I go right? Did I go left? That's where they knew me too. Hi, babe. Off you go. We were dressed right covered down when we were in the military. You had to have your best clothes on, not your fatigues, when you went off base. And I still agree with that. You should not do that. You're representing America. You need to be looking good and proud of your country. I don't see that now. And it worried me with the grandson that, was coming up. And he said because grandma wore army boots and she wasn't going to be the last damn ones to wear army boots. He's a fun kid. Well, he's 27. I never thought I'd have great kids. That's what I laugh at that when I say, oh, he's 27. I'm like, serious to God, where in the fuck all did 20 years go? In my eyes, my son's still looking for him, and he's on his tricycle somewhere over here. I'm like, is this the outside? That's probably why I don't have too many hippies come on, because I get a little nuts up here. I'll get distracted and go off on a whole nother thing. You just have to catch up. We have Google. Google just knows everything. I have some examples, but I won't do it. But if you're stuck, go to Google. I don't know about this AI thing. iRobot scared the piss out of me. I wasn't good with that. You turn red and shit. And they can fix each other, and oh my God. Then they were showing one, I've seen it before, but it does, you're inside of it, it's like the movie. The Terminator or what? No, that was a different one. One in the spaceship, but I can't think of what it was now. In any event, this thing would walk around on 2 legs, and then it would spot down and it would have 4 legs. This is a massive thing. I mean, and it was not slow. No, and it had weapons everywhere. And I'm looking at the guy in the middle, and you can barely see him. And I'm thinking to myself, at what point did you say, oh, fuck all? Even if you can get it out, you didn't think about, where the fuck is that thing going to aim? I was like, are you kidding me? It's supposed to be out for commercial use. That's what I heard. So you'd have to check that, like I said. But I keep saying it's biblical because here's a good example. I was watching where this monsoon and all these things are that hit. The Middle East at that time was having this horrible time with water and no drainage, so they were flooding. And then when I tapped in to see if they were okay, I think it was Dubai. I think, and water I saw was just here, but I'm not positive. But there was 3 camels that come floating by the camera. And I look, and it pans, the camera's panning. And there's this huge hole in the sand dune. I kid you not, in a sand dune. And it was like there was a fire hydrant in there. Like when I was a kid, they let us turn them on. They were great. And this thing is spewing out this water. It was a massive amount of water out of this hole. And I'm like, okay, at what point do we go, that's biblical. Where did you put those kids? Maybe we should go to the store. The funny thing about that is if it does become something, our kids, my generation, we're hippies, hunting, all of that was taught to us by our parents and grandparents because they were World War IIers. Mine were too. My dad and his brother was at Pearl Harbor. They were shore leave, and it just killed them because they couldn't get back to their ships. I know if you're a veteran or if you're active duty, that's family, and that's a rough thing to go through. Not like they told anybody but their wives, and the wives told the kiddies a little bit, like they were there, they couldn't get the ship. Even as a young child, you went, "Oh man, that's horrible," you know. And so many died that day. Although Donald Trump, hey Donnie, President Trump, love you, baby. I love how you keep out of the assassin's way. You rock on, baby. And you need to fire everybody in the Secret Service that is not under, or actually, I'm sorry, that is under 6 foot. You want everybody in there to be 6'5" because you're a very towering man. You're a tall drink of water. Maybe folks don't think so, but you're tall. You need to have somebody in there. I saw at the one in Pennsylvania, it looked like you had a dwarf in there. She was a girl. I mean, I was happy to see a woman in Secret Service, but it was like, what is she, 4'2"? And she's like hugging you around the waist. I'm like, the headshot is what they're going to take. And that's what had happened. It's just, I've turned the television on every day and I look and I pray that they don't do this again. But when you take away the billions of dollars that they can take from the taxes, they've been fucking the head before for decades, 60, 70 years, easy. We won't even talk about the last decade, but we get it, Bernie's thrown in, you know? What the hell? I thought it was funny as hell, I must say. Watch the Easter Bunny try to tell Biden he has to go this way, and he's getting hugs, and he's, get on! Biden looking for a chair behind, there ain't no chairs out there, they're outside. They don't have the chairs. He's looking for a chair. When President Ford would do these falls, the man just fell all the time. It kind of like Joe, Sleepy Joe did, getting on the stairs for the jet, yeah. Fall 2 or 3 fucking times. But Ford used to do the same thing. And it used to be on Saturday Night Live. You didn't have to watch the news, and that would have been on the news back in my day. But you didn't have access to all this. So somebody else, some comedian, would have to say something. You'd have to catch it on the 5 o'clock news. Didn't have any other news. It was all 5 o'clock. So yeah, if you wanted to know about it back in my day, that's how it went. And none of us want to be in this black and white. They finally got color. We finally got air conditioning. I mean, all that stuff was for rich folk. My goodness. These people thought they was the end of the world when they had, trees, all the fruit trees. They had huge gardens, and onions and carrots and potatoes and all this stuff and tomatoes. I mean, and give it to neighbors and stuff as well, because there was such a harvest. Cabbage, lettuce, they grew everything. As they went, and then they took all the fruit in, and they did something with all the fruit, made, cobblers and so forth, and preserves, and they never taught me. The only thing they taught me was to clean up, because they could then drink. That's what they did. Don't think for a minute that the World War II's would not get a drink. Yes, they would. And they didn't have to deal with all that. And this was back in the day when people got together for Veterans Day, Memorial Day, things like that. And they gathered at our house because at that time, this was the late 60s and 70s, they had apartments or they had a house and they had to drive 4 hours to get to us because they hadn't started the Eisenhower Highway yet. So when we first moved into our house in Harvey, Illinois, which was a suburb of Chicago, you had to drive 15 hours to get to where his parents were. And 15 hours back. That was one hell of a trip, and you didn't get a hotel. You could have a pillow. If you could squeeze a blanket in the back of the station wagon, you could have a blanket and a pillow. Don't bring clothes. And you could sit outside on the roof and shit. I mean, hey, Dad, 290, it was a hill. We survived. I had a good time. Those drives were the greatest. But they got the highway in the Eisenhower Highway. That's when it went in, folks. The one you still use today. They've widened and this and that, but that's when he did it. I think when he was over in the theater in Europe, I think he kind of liked the way that, like the Autobahn was designed and stuff, because that's how ours are kind of designed now. The Autobahn had been running, I think, for a couple of decades by the time the war got to like Berlin. But in any event, yeah, so that dropped it to 7-hour drive instead of 15, which was pretty good. But it was still, you have to park on the road and get the picnic basket out, give the kids sandwiches, chips, and a soda pop. We called them soda pops. My father said, you will never drink, don't ever let me see you drink Coca-Cola. And tell me right now, promise me, pinky swear, whatever, you will never touch a Coca-Cola. That was the written rule. I mean, you could not touch a Coca-Cola. Even my brother followed that. He's 13 years old. Pepsi Cola come out. And my dad shut in. He said, all right, I'll let you have the Pepsi Cola because he did the nail test and it didn't dissolve. But the Coca-Cola's dead. But that was when it still had cocaine. It was terrible too. My father passed away. Bless him. His memory is a blessing. But he wasn't alive to find out that there was cocaine in the Coke. And that's why people wouldn't do anything but drink this Coca-Cola, and they just faded away and got sick and so forth because it was cocaine. But he never saw that in his lifetime. But he was right. But he didn't, have an idea what was wrong with it. Just that don't you touch it to the kids. You could have anyhow. You could have all this stuff, and finally Pepsi Cola come out. So I'm the childhood that was like, I don't know, like two Lockharts, Father loves best and all that. That was my life. Black and white, very old, it just had orders and you just did things a certain way. You had outdoor clothes, you had indoor clothes, you had, all this stuff. You didn't just go in the house, throw something on and go take off either. You had to explain where you were going, who you were going with, why you were going, how long would you be gone. They're writing down what you're wearing. It was that way for all of us, not just us. When I was young, you couldn't even wear pants to school, which we loved at 30 below zero. The women just loved that rule. We said, fuck you, put pants on anyway. Little snowsuits, fuck you. Bitches got legs. So I know this hippie's out here. And I see them. They're here at my bar all the time. They won't go on air. And it's like at Walmart, it's like Cheers. It's like everybody knows my name. And they yell, hey, I need to come right up on your wear. Let me see. Oh, I love the zeros. So I have a reputation now that I can't go out to Walmart. I can't get hardly to my mailbox unless I've cleaned up and got something on. I should shock the shit out of it just once and show up in my big bathrobe and shoes like everybody else. I couldn't do it. My mother'd be turning over in her grave. My mother, she'd probably leave the grave and come up and slap the fist out of me. World War II. That's good. So I say, I don't have the husband here today, and I've just been rattling on. Again, I'm trying to reach everybody. Those who are serious, those who are happy, those who want to talk about shit that's going on. Donnie, I call him Donnie, the president of the United States. Love the man, the mugshot's such a cool thing. Love what you did with the Oval Office. Can't wait to see the ballroom. And keep your head down and get Secret Service people that are actually going to protect you first, not second. They ended up taking J.D. Vance out. If y'all think we didn't see that, you're wrong. We see that. Most of us drugged every clip we could find on it and went through it, screen by screen for 4 hours for 10 seconds. I mean, it was, we're going to look into that shit because we know. The people that are pissed off is because they got things turned off like USAID. Let's go and where? Well, they don't have to sign. Nobody, we don't know. $1 trillion. First it was 9 million or something. Now it's 9 billion of this gone money in Minnesota. Ilhan Omar is from Somalia, where all that money went. They are terrorists. They went to the terrorists. They know that for a fact. Now, we already built the tunnels in Gaza, which are supposedly better than the ones that run the subway in, it was at New York or London. It might have been in London too. But at what point do you get pissed off? They call me a homegrown terrorist again, and they're going to have a problem. I know that people frown on that. I'm just saying, I didn't say I go get armed and shoot nobody. I'm saying I might write a very severely worded email to the White House. That's how they deal with shit, I worked in D.C., of course, a long time ago. I always worked at the base, next to the base, or what have you, ran divisions. Like I said, I'm one of those who just need to get out of my damn way. I'll tell you what you need to do in just a second. Just shut up and sit down. Kind of rude like that. My grandson and my grandma, you just don't like people, do you? I said, no, I don't. I really don't. We've got a time lag. Oh God, as well. And I have a phone here somewhere. We have no idea where. Oh, there it is. There's my husband, of course. Hey, I'm on live, and so are you. What's up? I'm on the air. What's up? We made it over here. He's not in the jail, and we'll be heading back. Oh, cool. Okay. Be safe. My focus was on down to the conductor's eye and sugar bomb. Okay. Bye. I mean, I tell you, like I said, this is so good when I had it. I'm trying to reconnect me. Hippy, oh, they got through. I'm having a lot of trouble with, I don't know what's going on. I'm about to call and find out. Because I had trouble last Friday as well, internet connection. And like I said, I've got 4 stations set up. I never know if anybody's fine. They're sitting here at the bar, but they might want to add camera. Most of them don't. I never had Friday. Several mics and all this set up because all that stuff. So you can't pay them to come on. They'll tell you that. You couldn't pay me to go do that. I got nothing. I don't even know what you talk about. You're funny, but I can't do that. I said, well, if you have a couple of drinks, everybody's fun. You know, you don't understand the damn thing they're talking about, but they're funny. So that tells me and the audience that my husband's on his way back from Columbia, South Carolina, which is what started my tirade. I trained at Fort Jackson, I forgot to add, and that's in Columbia, South Carolina. Loved Columbia, partied my ass off there. You got to pass, all right, let's go. We put 12 people in a taxi. And we're in a wheelchair, they didn't give a shit. They go get in the trunk, man. They were cool with us, you know. I mean, it was a good time to be alive, to have actually made it as the first company of women to be Army, to be regular Army. We're no longer waxaways and all that. So I feel good about kicking that door down, especially when I see the beautiful girls in the jet fighter planes. I mean, that's fucking awesome. They got one just on the Golden Knights, I think it's called. No, a female. It's come on, first female. And I got to see all this in my lifetime. It's still doing it. See, it's telling me, so I don't know if I'm off or not with what's going on. It's telling me I have more than one server and I have everything off. So that should not be doing it. I don't know why. And it won't unfreeze. It's just not doing it. So I don't need to ignore you right now. I'm not even sure. It's telling me I'm still on the air, but I don't know because I have a large yellow strip across. I'm thinking, is that a tornado? Because I took my glasses off because when you put in the Tiffany lamp, it's got a lot of blue. And it's a stained glass look and it just bounces off my glasses. And I look like I have a superpower or something. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what to do. I could just go out. Well, I've almost got 40 minutes in. See, I don't know if I'm getting through. I could give it a few more minutes and see. But it's just, and unless you can pull up something to interrupt it, you just can't get in and find out what it is while you're online. And I mean, I go into this. So I try to get the dashboard out and see if that's anything that I can use. I'm still getting that I'm running. It's still telling me that. But no, I can't. I finally got into the studio. Studio. This is telling me error. I don't know if you can hear me. Is going to the studio and starting a new stream. What are you doing? No, that's not what I needed it to do. Yeah, I'm back in, I guess. Again, I'm not sure. I can get back in behind the camera basically on this, but I can't tell. And with that strip there, it's not letting me, well, I got the pop up, but it's not letting me do nothing that I can do while I'm on the air. So I'm thinking I will, it's to wait till this evening sometime when I have time to look back on this. So everybody, if you can see me, if you can hear me, please join the Hippy at the bar. Come on in, grab your own drink, call me with Zoom, do a split screen, anything, live chat, throw a comment in. Hey, subscribe, it's funny up here. I think that one of the best things in the world that we have is our free speech. And that now all of us can, and we can be involved in that. And I don't want to miss that. They say these things will last up there in the ether, you know, that's wherever they server they put these to. It's always going to be there. Which isn't bad, you know, I could be dead for 1,000 years and somebody goes, this bitch was drunk. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and end my stream. And I'll see if I can come back in. Toodles.